Quick question, mate. Would you buy something that makes you go 10% slower just for training purposes?
Yep, every time.
Fair enough.
Hey guys, something a little bit different for you today. So after my crash late last year on the time trial bike, I started looking at different resistance training options, indoor, outdoor, all that kind of stuff. A friend of mine told me to get in contact with the guys at Terrain Dynamics, and they were good enough to send me a demo model of one of their products that I would try and review. So this is the disclaimer part as well. This is a demo that I have tried. It is not mine. I will send it back to them. I will now do a review of it. What the hell am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about this, the Airhub Pro. It's a resistance wheel. And guys, it's really, really simple. It has 3 settings: off, 1, which basically adds 1 watt per kilometer an hour, and 2, which, have a guess, adds 2 watts per kilometer an hour. And that's all it does. Okay, and normally with these things, yeah, I do like pros and cons. It's not that straightforward because someone's pros really is another person's cons with this. I'm going to approach this a bit differently. What we need to talk about is really 2 main aspects. Why the hell would you do this? And the really interesting one of when would you do this? But before we do that, I reckon we need to talk about what it's actually like to ride.
The way I would describe it is it's like a permanent 2% grade. Like anyone who knows Centennial, I'm on the back side of it at the moment. But it just feels like I'm going uphill. Like, it doesn't feel like there's brake rub. It doesn't feel like I'm riding in mud. It just feels like I'm going uphill. What does that do to your speed? Well, because you don't build speed, it really depends on how you ride it. Like a consistent effort, especially on a time trial bike, normally you just get faster and faster. But with this, I kind of feel like if I ease off for a second, I'll really slow down. Does this make Centennial Park on a Saturday afternoon on a time trial bike safe? No. No. This is a place for idiots and me. Well, maybe I had it right the first time. I really wanted just to prove a point here. Like, for example, I'm averaging 32 k's an hour. Not far off what you're allowed. And I'm doing 240 watts. So, kind of zone 2.
It works. It does exactly what it says on the tin, and it does it absolutely perfectly. The wheel build is fantastic, and that resistance is just, it's so smooth, it is fantastic. So the product works, but I don't think that's why you're watching this. And it's certainly not the question that I was asking myself really when I was riding it, because the question really is, why the hell would you do this? Why would you make yourself go slower? I'm going to be specific to really people living in big cities, because I think this is my experience of it, and I'd like to share it with you. So when I set out to start using this, its main goal was time trial bike in Centennial Park. The idea was to make that safer. Does it do that? Yes.
I'm doing 36 k's an hour at the moment, 250 watts, and I'm not building any speed.
It definitely allows you to ride at a certain power slower, which makes Centennial Park safer, full stop. So I tried a few different things. I tried my sort of bike path type riding on it, And what I was able to do is certainly push out a little bit more power and slower and take advantage of that. But it's heavy. It's quite heavy. And that's good in terms of slowing you down a lot of the time, but the handling isn't amazing. And on the bike paths that we use, handling is kind of a big part of it.
Another use can be effort. So, for example, I'm here at Bobbin Head, which is normally sort of 7-8 minute type climb. The Airhub will turn this into a 10-minute climb. For sure, 100%, it will do that. And I will say this, like, riding it to Bobbin Head, so obviously for me that's an hour, riding it here isn't massively, it's not a dramatic challenge.
Something I hadn't considered in the beginning was wet weather. Now, riding in wet weather around, especially around Sydney, and I'm sure a lot of the cities, okay, you get wet and that's annoying, but it's just really, really dangerous. And you can't normally ride the sort of route that you normally would just because it is dangerous with the cars around. Put this into the equation, and I was able to do rides and routes that normally, you don't get much training benefit from, but with this thing on, you were actually forced to push that little bit harder, and it made it more beneficial. So whilst I didn't go on, big ginormous rides with it, it did allow me to do the smaller ride in the rain and probably get something out of it.
And look, you're not going to go and take it out. I'm not going to go ride with him and put an Airhub on. Like, I'm not going to do that. Now, it's a big mental thing. I'm not going to go out and do big kilometers on it. Like, I want to actually get to where I'm going.
So the wins that really worked were time trial bike in Centennial Park, bike paths, 7 out of 10, and wet weather, which was like a 9 out of 10. Definitely worked for that. The wins that didn't work for me, and it's interesting, it's kind of sold as this, which I find quite bizarre, but the concept of taking this thing on a group ride. Come on. Seriously? Just ride on the front, or don't do a group ride on that day. Just don't be the guy turning up to a group ride riding this. I mean, no. And the other one is riding with your partner. Liz is quite a good bike rider, so I don't necessarily need to do this, but I also have the advantage of a cross bike. So if I really want to go that little bit harder, I've got that option. But again, okay, as a general rule, I would say this particular thing is for when you're riding by yourself. Just don't be the guy. Guys, it really is a good product. Like, it's well made, it does exactly what it says on the tin, but you're all going to ask me the question, am I going to buy one? And I honestly still can't answer that. And the reason is, so for me, the biggest challenge with this, the biggest challenge is literally rolling out of the garage with it. Because, okay, let me explain. You're in the garage, you're about to roll out, and you look at the wheel and you're like, I should probably go out and use that because it'll make me that bit stronger, it'll make it all a bit harder, but I'm gonna go slower. And mentally, it is such a challenge to roll out that front door with that wheel on. Okay, we're competitive, right? Say I take it into Centennial Park. Dudes are riding past me all over the place going, this bloke's on the rivet and he's hardly moving. It plays with your brain. It's really bad for your ego. It is hard to roll out the front door with it. And look, once you do, it's fine. You really do start feeling the benefits of it. It's definitely there, but maybe I'm mentally weak. I don't know, but yeah, I am mentally weak. But it's a bit like the indoor trainer thing. For me, it's all of a sudden the bike ride has just turned into training, full stop. Look, I really, really like having the option of it. I love having the option of it. Would I spend the money on it? I don't know. I like shiny carbon light things. That might be where the money goes. Don't know. can't beat Contessa's. It's like one of the few cafes that's literally been here forever. And that's pretty rare in Balmain. Yeah, anyway, so I'm going to a Zwift event tonight, Zwift on tour. So they got some of their new products like Kick a Climb and a few other bits and pieces. What's going on in that space at the moment is really interesting. So I'm going to go along, check it out. Jeff will be there. Yes, that Jeff. And Shane Miller will be there. So he knows a whole heap about this product. I'm going to quiz him on a few things. Oh, and Sharpie's going to try and win the helpline. So quick update, guys. That was in my pants. Now I've got to go find someone who knows what they're talking about here. It's not going to be Crafty. It's not going to be Bob Barrett. Had a lot of coffee.
Kick a Climb goes up and down. So we're all used to the smart trainers kicking in that resistance, where you're riding up a hill, you get a bit of that oomph when it goes up, and the relief also when it goes down. Kick a Climb will also go the up and down on the handlebars too, so a little bit more immersion.
This is my first ever Zwift.
First ever Zwift experience. Wow. So the big thing I noticed there is, okay, yeah, the resistance changed, but not only did the resistance change, but the actual position and the feeling on the bike completely changed as the terrain changed, which was kind of always my little gripe with these things, was that it was quite one-dimensional. That wasn't one-dimensional. I was told by someone not that long ago that if they see another slow-mo-y, artsy sequence of someone making a coffee, that they'll just throw up. Haven't done a gin and tonic one.
workbook. I don't want the box.
Ah, I hadn't turned it on. Hadn't turned it on.
I don't know.
Let's do it again. Take two. Take one wasn't that good anyway. Yeah, so look, the reason I was trying to combine these things is, well, they're both sort of a variation on resistance training. There's certainly a little bit of a crossover, and where all this stuff's headed is pretty interesting. And with that, I leave you with our closing theme tune. I've been working on a railroad. Should we put this in the bin?
No.
All right.